Ozymandias is a sonnet written by the English Romantic poet PB Shelley. Shelley wrote Ozymandias in 1817 as part of a poetry contest with a friend and had it published in The Examiner in 1818 under the pen name Glerasts. The title Ozymandias refers to an alternate name of the ancient Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II. In the poem, Shelley describes a crumbling statue of Ozymandias as a way to portray the transience of political power and to praise art's ability to preserve the past. Although the poem is a 14-line sonnet, it breaks from the typical sonnet tradition in both its form and rhyme scheme, a tactic that reflects Shelley's interest in challenging conventions, both political and poetic. Summary and analysis. One of Shelley's most famous works, Ozymandias, describes the ruins of an ancient king's statue in a foreign desert. All that remains of the statue are two vast stone legs standing upright and a head half buried in sand, along with a boastful inscription describing the ruler as the King of Kings whose mighty achievements invoke awe and despair in all who behold them. The inscription stands in ironic contrast to the decrepit reality of the statue, however, underscoring the ultimate transience of political power. The poem implicitly critiques such power through its suggestion that both great rulers and their kingdoms will fall to the sands of time. In the poem, the speaker relates a story a traveler told him about the ruins of a colossal wreck of a sculpture whose decaying physical state mirrors the dissolution of its subjects. Ozymandias's power. Only two upright legs, a face, and a pedestal remain of Ozymandias's original statue, and even these individual parts of the statue are not in great shape. The face, for instance, is shattered. Clearly, time hasn't been kind to this statue, whose pitiful state undercuts the bold assertion of its inscription. The fact that even this King of Kings lies decaying in a distant desert suggests that no amount of power can withstand the merciless and unceasing passage of time. The speaker goes on to explain that time not only destroyed the statue, it also essentially erased the entire kingdom the statue was built to overlook. The speaker immediately follows the king's declaration found on the pedestal of the statue, "Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair," with the line, "Nothing beside remains." Such a savage contradiction makes the king's prideful dare almost comically naive. Ozymandias had believed that while he himself would die, he would leave a lasting and intimidating legacy through everything he built. Yet his words are ultimately empty, as everything he built has crumbled. The people and places he ruled over are gone, leaving only an abandoned desert, whose lone and level sands imply that therein #39's not even a trace of the kingdom's former glory to be found. The pedestals claim that onlookers should despair at Ozymandias's works. Thus takes on a new and ironic meaning. One despairs not at Ozymandias's power, but at how powerless time and decay make everyone. The speaker also uses the specific example of Ozymandias to make a broader pronouncement about the ephemeral nature of power and, in turn, to implicitly critique tyranny. The speaker evokes the image of a cruel leader. Ozymandias wears a frown along with the sneer of cold command, and quote, that such passions are now recorded only on lifeless things, i.e., the statue, is a clear rebuke of such a ruler, and suggests that the speaker believes such tyranny now only exists on the face of a dead and crumbling piece of stone. The poem and #39's depiction of the destruction of Ozymandias and his tyranny isn't entirely fictional. Ozymandias is the Greek name for the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II, who dramatically expanded Egypt's empire and who had several statues of himself built throughout Egypt. In fact, the ancient Greek writer Diodorus Siculus reported the following inscription on the base of one of Ozymandias' statues: "King of kings am I, Ozymandias. If anyone would know how great I am and where I lie, let him surpass one of my works." By alluding to an actual ancient empire, and an actual king, the poem reminds readers that history is full of the rises and falls of empires. No power is permanent, regardless of how omnipotent a ruler believes himself to be. Even the King of Kings may one day be a forgotten relic of an antique land. Although the statue is a wreck in a state of decay, its individual pieces show the skill of the sculptor and preserve the story of Ozymandias. The face is shattered, leaving only a mouth and nose above the desert sand, but the frown, wrinkled lip, and sneer clearly show Ozymandias' passions, that is, his pride, tyranny, and disdain for others. The fragments interpret and preserve the king's personality and show onlookers throughout history what sort of a man and leader Ozymandias truly was. These fragments, then, are examples of art's unique ability to capture and relate an individual's character even after their death. In fact, the poem explicitly emphasizes art's ability to bring personalities to life. The speaker explains that Ozymandias' passions yet survive on the broken statue despite being carved on lifeless stone. Ozymandias may be dead, yet, thanks to the sculptor who read those passions and mocked, or made an artistic reproduction of them, his personality and emotions live. In addition to highlighting the sculptor's artistic skill, Shelley's poem also elevates the act of writing through its focus on the inscription of the statue's pedestal. The pedestal preserves Ozymandias' identity even more explicitly than the statue itself. Man versus nature. As a romantic poet, Shelley was deeply respectful of nature and skeptical of humanity's attempts to dominate it. Fittingly, his Ozymandias is not simply a warning about the transience of political power, but also an assertion of humanity's impotence compared to the natural world. The statue the poem describes has very likely become a colossal wreck, precisely because of the relentless forces of sand and wind erosion in the desert. This, combined with the fact that lone and level sands have taken over everything that once surrounded the statue, suggests nature as an unstoppable force to which human beings are ultimately subservient. Shelley's imagery suggests a natural world whose might is far greater than that of humankind.